Welcome to the story. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support me. The wind howled across the barren surface of the planet as the exploration vessel, Argonaut, descended through the thick gray atmosphere. Captain Leah Moreau stood in the command center, watching the readings on her console as they neared the surface. Her fingers lightly tapped the armrest of her chair, the only outward sign of her tension. After months of searching, they had finally found an abandoned alien ruin hidden deep in the fringes of the galaxy. This is it, Leah murmured to herself. She turned to Dr. Ethan Rue, who sat at the console beside her. The scientist's eyes were wide with excitement, his fingers twitching over his datapad. Try, what do you think, Ethan? Dr. Rue barely looked up, his voice trembling with anticipation. It's incredible. The readings are off the charts. We've never encountered anything like this before. This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for. Leah nodded, but the knot in her stomach tightened. They had found something remarkable. Yes, but the unknown always carried risk. Let's make sure we're prepared. We don't have a witness start waiting for us down there. The ship landed smoothly on the planet surface, the thrusters kicking up a cloud of dust. Leah and her team of scientists, engineers, and security personnel donned their helmets, stepping out into the alien world. The sky above was a dull, stormy gray, casting long shadows over the massive structures that loomed around them. The ruins were unlike anything Leah had ever seen, tall metallic spires covered in strange geometric patterns that seemed to hum with energy, even though they were clearly ancient. Set up the outpost, Leah ordered, her voice crisped through the helmet's cum. The team moved efficiently, erecting tents, unloading equipment, and establishing the necessary systems for power and communication. The air was tense but filled with anticipation. They all knew the significance of this find. This was a chance to unlock the secrets of an ancient civilization, one that had vanished without a trace. As they worked, Dr. Ava Serno, the team and xenobiologist, approached Leah. Captain, I've been running scans, and there are no signs of organic life, past or present, whatever lived here. They left a long time ago. Leah's brow furrowed. No life at all. Ava shook her head. None itself, but then it was wiped clean. All that's left are these machines. She glanced at the towering spires, a hint of unease creeping into her voice. We'll proceed with caution, Leah said, but keep an eye on those readings. If anything changes, I want to know immediately. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an eerie red glow over the ruins, the team gathered in the main outpost. Dr. Ryu had spent the day studying the alien technology, carefully cataloging each discovery. I've never seen anything like this. The architecture, the materials, even the way the energy flows through these machines. It's all so far beyond our understanding. Leah listened intently, her arms crossed her. Have you figured out what these machines were used for? Dr. Rule hesitated. Not yet, but I believe this structure we ruin at some sort of control center. These machines, they weren't cheap just for communication or data storage. They were meant to do something far more powerful. A chill ran down Leah's spine of powerful. How? Yeah. I made a video play, but I'll find out. The hours dragged on, the team working late into the night. Leah made her rounds, checking on the progress of the research and ensuring the security personnel were alert. Sergeant Adrian Cortez, the head of security, was stationed near the entrance, his hand resting on the grip of his sidearm. You seem jumpy, Sergeant, Leah remarked as she approached him. Just doing my job, Captain, Cortez replied, his voice steady. This place, it gives me the creeps, feels like something so watching us. Leah glanced around at the shadowy ruins. Why, there's nothing out there. We've scanned for life there. Snot. Cortez gave a tight nod, but Leah could see the unease in his eye. I hope you be right, he muttered, more to himself than to her. As Leah walked back to the main tent, her cum crackled to life. Captain Morel, this is Marcus from Team 3. We've found something in one of the outer chambers. Leah paused. Kind of something. It's hard to describe. Looks like a machine, but it's massive, almost like it saw it. Stay where you are, Leah ordered. When she arrived at the chamber, Marcus and his team were standing in front of a massive, intricate machine that stretched from floor to ceiling, its surface covered in glowing alien symbols. The machine pulsed faintly, as if it were breathing. This thing is still active, Marcus said, his voice filled with awe. We didn't touch anything, but it just woke up. Leah's pulse quickened. Step back. We don't know what we were dealing with here. As the team retreated, Leah reached out to Dr. Wu over the comms CRV. Thou found something. I need you to take a look. Wu arrived a few minutes later, his eyes widening as he took in the sight of the machine. Incredible. This might be the core of their technology, if we can figure out how it works. Before he could finish, a low hum filled the air, vibrating through the wall. Leah felt the hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. What the hell is that? The machine was pulsing, grew stronger, its light intensifying. Dr. Ryu took a step closer, studying it intently. Found just reacting to us. This might be a form of defense system. Leah's heart pounded in her chest. We need to shut it down now. Ryu scrambled to his equipment, trying to decipher the alien symbols that scrolled across the machine surface. But before he could make any progress, a loud crash echoed from the other side of the chamber. Leah spun around, her hand instinctively reaching for her weapon. One of the researchers, a young woman named Tessis, was standing near the doorway. Her face pale. Captain Marcus is gone. Leah's stomach lurched. What do you mean gone? Tessis pointed to the spot where Marcus had been standing just moments ago. There was nothing there, no sign of a struggle, no trace of him at all. He had simply vanished. Air spread out. Sierra Leah ordered, her voice tight. Very, find him now. Go. The team searched the chamber and the surrounding corridors, but Marcus was nowhere to be found. It was as if he'd been erased from existence. Leah's mind raced. Could the machine have done this? Was it responsible for Marcus's disappearance? And if so, what kind of power were they dealing with? As the hours passed and the search turned up nothing, Leah made the difficult decision to regroup. We'll continue in the morning, she said, her voice heavy. Boy, but I want double security tonight. No one leaves the outpost without backup. Back at the outpost, Leah couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The machine's hum still echoed in her ears, a constant reminder of the dangers they were facing. And now with Marcus gone, the stakes had risen even higher. As she sat alone in the dimly lit command tent, staring at the flickering data screens, she heard a faint voice over the comm. Leah, it was Marcus. Leah froze at the sound of Marcus's voice. Her fingers hovered over the comm controls, hesitant to respond. Dial Marcus. There she said, cautiously. Drea, where are you? Static crackled through the speaker, followed by a distorted echo of Marcus' voice. Harris, I am here. Leah, help me. Her blood ran cold. Something wasn't taut right. His voice sounded distant, warped as though it wasn't coming from him at all. She shot a glance at the control console, but there was no signal, indicating his location. Where exactly are you? No answer, just static and then silent. Leah clenched her jaw. Rio Cortez, meet me in the command tent immediately. She didn't really want to admit it, but she was beginning to feel the unease Cortez had spoken about earlier. This mission had started with such promise, but now the weight of the unknown was pressing down on her chest. Dr. Ryu and Sergeant Cortez arrived within minutes, both looking grim. We picked up Marcus on the comm sail, Leah said, her voice tight. He called for help, but we still can locate him. Dr. Ryu rubbed the back of his neck. If the alien machines are involved, they could be distorting his signal. We might be hearing something, but it doesn't mean he's such alive. Leah didn't want to think about the implications of that, but the logical part of her brain couldn't deny it. We're dealing with something beyond our understanding, she said quietly. But we need to assume Marcus is alive until proven otherwise. He might be trapped somewhere. Cortez's hand rested instinctively on his sidearm. Faro, what's out the plan, Captain? We head back to where Marcus disappeared. We'll start a systematic sweep of the area. No one goes alone. We stick together, and if you see or hear anything strange, you report it immediately. They armed themselves with advanced scanners and set off toward the chamber where Marcus had vanished. The air inside the alien ruins was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the occasional hum of machinery. The shadows cast by the dim lighting seemed to twist and warp, playing tricks on their eyes. Leah's skin prickled with the sensation that they were being watched, but every time she looked over her shoulder, there was nothing there. As they moved deeper into the structure, the atmosphere grew colder, and the strange symbols on the walls began to glow faintly, as though reacting to their presence. Leah's fingers tightened on her weapon, her senses on high alert. Keep your eyes open. I don't trust anything in here. They arrived at the chamber where Marcus had last been seen. The massive machine still pulsed with that strange rhythmic hum, casting an eerie light over the wall. Leah's eyes scanned the room, but there was no sign of Marcus. "Marcus," he called, her voice echoing off the metal walls. "Ari, you can hear me," respond. For a moment, there was nothing then. From the far corner of the room, a low guttural sound echoed back to them, a sound that didn't belong to any human. Cortez immediately raised his weapon, his eyes narrowing. "Trek, did you hear that?" Leah nodded, her pulse quickening. "Stay close. Whatever that was, it wasn't time, Marcus." The noise came again, louder this time, and Leah could feel the ground vibrating beneath her feet. The machine in the center of the room began to pulse faster, its light growing brighter. Dr. Ryu was staring at it, wide-eyed. "Something's happening. I think it's waking up." "Get back," Leah shouted. But before they could move, the machine let out a high-pitched whine, and the air around them seemed to ripple. The walls shimmered, and then without warning, something emerged from the shadows. It was a sentinel, towering over them, its metallic body gleaming in the light of the machine. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural blue light as it scanned the room. Leah barely had time to react before the sentinel lunged toward them, moving with surprising speed for something so large. "Fall back," Leah ordered, firing her weapon at the creature. The bullets ricocheted off its armor, doing little more than slowing it down. Cortez opened fire as well, but the sentinel seemed unfazed, its eyes locked on the group. Dr. Ryu was frantically trying to work the controls on his scanner, his face pale. "It's feeding off the energy in this room. The more the machine pulses, the stronger it gets." Leah gritted her teeth. "How do we stop it?" "I don't know," Chris stammered. I'm trying to figure it out." The sentinel lunged again, this time targeting Cortez. The sergeant dove out of the way just in time, but the creature was relentless. It swung one of its massive arms, smashing into the wall and sending debris flying across the room. "We need to shut that machine down," Leah shouted over the noise, pointing to the pulsing core in the center of the room. "Yeah, it's the source of all this, Derek." Dr. Ryu nodded, scrambling toward the machine. "I'll try to deactivate it, but I'll need time." "Go," Leah barked. "Cortez and I will keep it busy." The sentinel moved again, this time faster than before. Leah barely had time to dodge as it swung at her, its arm slicing through the air like a blade. She fired her weapon at its head, hoping to blind it, but the creature was too fast. It closed the distance between them in seconds, its glowing eyes locked on her. Cortez rushed in, slamming his shoulder into the sentinel's side. The impact caused it to stumble, but only for a moment. The creature turned on Cortez, grabbing him with one of its mechanical arms and lifting him off the ground. "Adrian," Leah screamed, rushing forward. She fired at the creature's thumb, aiming for the joints, hoping to weaken it. The sentinel's grip loosened just enough for Cortez to break free, but the creature showed no signs of slowing down. Behind them, Dr. Ryu was frantically working the controls on the machine, his hands flying over the alien symbols. "I am almost there," he shouted. "Tara, just a few more seconds." Leah dodged another attack from the sentinel, her heart racing. She could feel the sweat trickling down her neck, her muscles burning from the effort of staying ahead of the creature's relentless pursuit. Finally, with a triumphant shout, Dr. Ryu pressed a final command into the machine, and the room was suddenly plunged into silence. The pulsing light from the machine dimmed and the sentinel froze in place, its glowing eyes flickering. "It's shutting down," Wu cried, his voice filled with relief. Leah didn't waste a second. She raised her weapon and fired at the sentinel's head, this time hitting a vulnerable spot. The creature's eyes went dark and its body collapsed to the ground with a heavy thud. For a moment, no one spoke. The only sound was the ragged breathing of the team, the adrenaline still pumping through their veins. Leah slowly lowered her weapon, her body trembling from the intensity of the encounter. His voice hoarse. Leah glanced at the machine, then back at the fallen sentinel. "For now," she said, her voice quiet, "but I don't think we've seen the last of these things." Dr. Ryu approached the machine, his brow furrowed in thought. "There's something you need to see," he said, pointing to the console. Leah and Cortez followed him, their eyes narrowing as they looked at the alien symbols displayed on the screen. "It's Seng Containment Protocol," Ryu explained. "Doreen, this machine wasn't just a power source. It was holding something dangerous." Leah's heart sank. What kind of something? Will hesitated. It's hard to say for sure, but from what I've been able to translate, this facility was designed to contain a powerful energy source. The alien civilization couldn't control it, so they built these machines to keep it sealed, but we disrupted the containment. Leah felt a chill run down her spine. Are you saying we've released it? Not entirely. If we don't, we find a way to restore it. Whatever session there could get out. Cortez let out a low curse. Great. So now we were sitting on top of some alien doomsday device. Leah's mind raced as the implications sank in. They hadn't just stumbled upon an abandoned ruin. They had awakened something far worse. And now, with the containment field failing, they were running out of time. How do we fix it? Will glanced at the console made him there. There's a control center deeper in the facility. If we can reach it, we might be able to reactivate the containment, but it's a long shot. Leah straightened, her resolve hardening. However, then, we don't have a choice. We'll go to the control center and shut this thing down before it's too late. The team gathered their equipment and prepared for the journey ahead. Leah knew they were venturing into the unknown, facing dangers they couldn't fully comprehend. But they had no other option. If they didn't stop whatever was hidden in the ruins, it could mean the end of them all. As they moved deeper into the alien structure, the walls around them began to pulse with energy, and Leah couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them, something ancient, something angry. The ground beneath their feet trembled, and the air grew colder. The alien machines were waking up, one by one, their sentinels stirring from their long slumber. But Leah wasn't about to back down. She would face whatever was waiting for them in the depths of the ruins, and she would stop it, no matter the cost.